I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski. And if it's Wednesday, you know it's all about politics 101. And what an incredible 12 hours it's been. Who would have thought that 12 hours ago, Donald J. Trump would become the 45th president of the United States? I wouldn't have thought. Would you? What a story. What a campaign. Yes, it was divisive. America is as divided as it is full of hatred. But maybe, especially after the victory speech, maybe it might just come back together again. On the bench today, we've got a full bench, by the way. It is packed with the best of the folks from the north. We've covered Wajir, Mandera, Garissa. It's all on the bench today. That's right. Nobody should feel left out. And they're experts. They're great guys. On the far end, young banker. He's worked everywhere from Australia to Tokyo, now based in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Senior Vice President at the Riyadh Bank, Mohammed Wahliye. In the middle, yes, indeed, the doyen himself. Former Speaker, National Assembly, former Member of Parliament for Lagdera. He is Salam Alaikum. And of course, we got the Grand Mullah himself. He's senior counsel. He's publisher, Nairobi Law Monthly and Nairobi Business Monthly. And yes, media owner. He owns his own television network, albeit in Somali. Okay, it's a network still. Al Nur Media, the Grand Mullah, Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi. We're going to first talk. We have to talk about the U.S. elections. And then, of course, state of corruption in Kenya, Eurobond, NYS, Ruto versus Waiguru. We're going to talk about the whole thing in the next 60 minutes. Twitter handles are at Wahliye Mohammed, at Salam Alaikum M, at Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, of course, at Koinange Jeff. Yes, you can also tweet at KTN News and KTN Kenya. Hashtag state of corruption. Sit back. It's going to be great tonight. Gentlemen, Salam Alaikum. Good to see you guys.
Sim.
Welcome to
Good
Kenya.
to see you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, look, I guess I was as shocked. I was at the U.S. Embassy early this morning from 5 a.m. thanks to Ambassador Godek and the great team at the embassy. There was like 2,000 people gathered at the embassy, all waiting to see, hear, witness history in the making. And I guess they did in a way. But my goodness, Mohammed, first let's start with you. Your thoughts when you saw that the pendulum was swinging towards Trump. What were you thinking?
Jeff, to be honest, I went to bed early, so I didn't bother to watch.
You missed the whole thing?
Yes.
No, you did not.
I was in bed at around 10 o'clock. I woke up at 5 to pray, morning prayers, watched CNN, and saw, Trump leading. I was as surprised as anyone else, but look, I always had a feeling that it was going to be very close.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy who was elected or basically nominated by a big party. So as soon as he was the candidate for GOP, I thought it was not going to be an easy thing for Hillary to win. I, of course, was biased towards a Hillary win. But these are elections. We rely on polls, we rely on what the media says, but at the end of the day, what matters is those guys on the ground.
Absolutely. Salam Alaikum, I saw your tweet earlier on today where you said, how could the media and the polls have gotten it so wrong? I think you nailed it. Every poll kept predicting Hillary 3-4 points ahead.
Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, if she wins one battleground state,
Yes.
Pennsylvania, Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, one of those.
Yes.
If she wins just one,
Yes.
she's got this whole thing.
Yes.
How did they get it so wrong?
They got it wrong. I think they will have to literally go back to the books. And the other time they got it also wrong, but not as bad as they got it now, is the Brexit also. Brexit, the prediction was that UK was going to remain in the European Union. But this time, all the pollsters, all of them got it wrong. They talked about a firewall, basically, which they said a firewall essentially means the states that were solidly blue, Hillary. That firewall was broken left, right, and center.
That's right.
And then they talked about what they call the toss-up states, swing states, like Florida. Presumption up until the closing moments of the final numbers was that the three major counties that had a massive population of about close to 1 million, black majority, were going to turn out in big numbers, and she was going to basically overtake Trump and win that. Never happened. Ohio. Yeah, and okay, in terms of the total votes, she won with a very slim majority.
Popular, yes.
But in terms of the popular votes, but in terms of the electoral college, electoral votes, it's you know, she was completely wiped out.
Yeah.
You know, 218 against 289. You know, literally lost. And when you look at the map, it's all red, and then you see a few patches. Of course,
Yes.
you know, California, New York, these are states with massive population and at the same time with big electoral colleges. And nonetheless, all said and done, pollsters got it wrong. I want to believe what many said, that the polls were hidden. The polls were not too obvious because the Trump supporters were shy. You know, Trump played on the race card, on the fact that the white race was going to be overtaken in 40 short years if the thing goes on like this. So, and of course then a lot of other things. He played the race card,
Yeah.
he played the class card, he played the rural urban card.
Yes. Graham Muller, were you shocked? Were you surprised?
I think like everybody else, I was shocked, but I think I understand why, you know, people voted the way they voted. And I think for me, it was a case of where white Americans took back their country. I don't want to say from whom, but I think there are 70% of the electorate. They have decided, I think they have had enough of this, you know, liberal, this borderless country, you know, this open country for refugees. This, I mean, and I understand. I mean, you know, we have to appreciate that America is like any other country. It has its own internal dynamics. I mean, there are people who think that the country is getting all kind of people, all kind of refugees, or every kind of migrants. And they want, you know, they want to go back to the old times. And that's why, in my view, they went for Trump. But Trump also, people have underestimated him. When he decimated 15 of the most qualified candidates within the GOP, I mean, everybody should have realized that he's one hell of a candidate, you know? Yes.
Do you think America's ready for a woman president? Because it looks like they're still very paternalistic. And this woman, obviously Hillary, was very divisive. You think they just not ready for a woman president?
No, I think Americans are too open-minded to have a woman as a president. The only problem is, I mean, the Clinton is, it's a dynasty, you know, and dynasties have all kinds of historic problems. Also, she had so many package, you know, every day there was one scandal, unfortunately for her. But, you know, I mean, she's someone who has done a great service for her country for the last 30, 40 years. She has been first lady in Arkansas. She was first lady for, you know, in the White House. And she's one hell of a person in terms of, you know, what she has done. When she was a lawyer, when she was, I think, teaching law. If there was a qualified person, I mean, I don't think there was someone more qualified than Hillary.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, the way the CIA released this, that news item, I mean, the way this, I mean, also, you know, Trump was too abusive, you know. I mean, she was too decent for him, I mean, yes.
So what does that say, Mohammed Walia? Do Americans, or because a lot of women voted for Trump, so do women like a bad boy? Is that what it is? Despite the baggage he had, that videotape, the audio tape, grabbed them by the you-know-what. What is it?
I think, Jeff, you know, there's too much focus on the rhetoric and all the issues Trump was basically talking about in terms of race, religion, and, immigration, and so many other you know, rhetoric. But there is a deeper, I think, reasons why the Americans decided to vote for Trump. And that's something probably we are going to find out later. You know, if you look at President Obama's presidency, he did well in terms of from the economy, from the perspectives of the economy.
Especially with what he inherited.
Correct. But unfortunately, the numbers are trending good. The economic statistics were good. But I don't think that was being felt on the ground, so to speak, by the Wanjiku of the Americans. So there are a lot of factory closures. There were some issues in terms of, you know, some states not doing well.
Even Obamacare?
Correct. Now, if you look at the states that voted and that used to vote for the Democrats, which surprisingly voted for Trump, those are states that, you know, where issues of the economy are very, very important. So for me, a lot of people have been focusing on these issues of race and all that, but I think there's a deeper issue. And you can compare that to Kenya, for example. Our economy is growing at 5 to 6%. You know, you have sectors that are doing very well. But if you go and talk to people, then you have these issues of, you know, SMEs closing shop. So we don't know what is happening on the ground. We don't know the anger on the ground in terms of, you know, the economic growth not trickling down to the people. And I think that is probably what happened in America. But we will know in due course, the true course.
You know, America, one of the biggest constituencies that influenced the election for Trump is what's called, you know, the uneducated white man. Yeah. The one who has no college degree. And I think it's a euphemism for, I think, calling him, instead of calling him the white racist,
yes,
they call him, you know, the white man without a college degree.
Yeah.
And that's the guys, you know, who, you know, I mean, they feel very strong about the country. They feel that they've been excluded. They think other people have taken their jobs. That, I mean, when Trump tells them, you know, that jobs have been exported to China, they believe it. And I think the America needs to deal with that segment of society.
You see, I think Trump had his script right from the beginning. I mean, not right in the sense that it's the right thing he did in terms of ideological persuasion, but right in the sense that he took the winning route. You remember the Bafta issue?
yes.
The way he started attacking
Yes.
Obama as a president, so he went for him. He went for him. He went for Obamacare. He went for everything that Obama did for the black race and the Hispanics. He went for all those areas, even though there wasn't much. You know, Obama, when he took over government, there were only 60 million Americans who were working. The 95 million of them working. In 8 years, he created 35 million jobs. Unemployment is down to the lowest in modern times, 4.5%. But you know what Obama said? Hogwash. That is all, it's a facade. It does not exist. It's a lie.
Trump, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Trump said that's a lie. It doesn't exist. There are no jobs. We are at our lowest. We've never been this bad.
And they believed him.
Yes, they believed him. As Ahmed says, he went for the uneducated
So
white
tell me
folks.
something.
But
Does he undo Obama's legacy?
everything. He has a majority in the House of Congress. He has a majority in the Senate too. He has the White House. He's just waiting for the first. Is it the first of 20th of
20th of
January?
January.
20th of January.
And he will appoint also a judge to the Supreme Court.
Yes, yes. The moment he gets appointed, he's going to appoint the new judge,
The Supreme Court?
who is going to be the most conservative one can ever get. And the next thing you know, is going to get rid of social welfare. Anything that targeted the poor, and by the way, disproportionate numbers in terms of the number of blacks in that docket, as compared to the number of whites.
Yeah.
So the majority of them are blacks. The majority of them are Hispanics. The majority of them are recent immigrants from Africa, from all over the world.
Yes.
From Syria, from who
Syria,
God
yeah,
knows that.
yeah.
So he's basically going to go for that. But let me tell you the silver lining in that. Let me tell you the silver lining
Go
in
on.
that. I personally would support a situation in which those welfare checks
And food stamps.
and food stamps and all that stuff that are given to the poor blacks there and the poor immigrants are stopped, so that they are able to realize their full potential. I don't know if you've been to the States, you went to school in the States, I know that. You've seen the Indian reservations where they give them a lot of money
And
just to sit on their butts
and buy alcohol.
and do nothing and buy alcohol and go into suicide and do nothing.
Yes.
So the introduction of drugs, introduction of alcohol into the black communities, all these things, I see a system that is, well, of course it was there. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy. One time by the FBI and the CIA.
Correct.
Way back in the 30s and in the 40s. But I believe that with the moment you get rid of this, you're going to bring out the full potential in those communities.
Okay,
in there.
before we go to break, real quick, Mohammed, starting with you. Trump once said he's going to stop Muslims coming to America. And I'm going to go, each of you, real quick. Give me your answer. What do you think? Are you worried now? Can you get a visa? You worried you're going to get a visa or go to America? Go on.
Now, first of all, I'd like to disagree with what Mheshimiwa said. I think, politicians promise things. I don't think Trump will do everything he pledged to do. If he does everything he said he will do, we have a lot
Build
of...
the wall,
Yeah,
all that
we
stuff.
will have a lot of problems. Even from, the global economy perspective. I mean, he says, for example, China is a manipulator of currencies. I'm going to put tariffs on China, 45%.
China owns that dollar, do they?
China exports to America. I think the biggest export market, the biggest export market of China is America. 18% of its exports goes to China, to America. So if he does that, then there will be, you will have a scenario whereby you have, currency wars. And once you have a currency war, then you have, a lot of global issues that then becomes probably even will cause a recession.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going to do, he says he's going to basically cut tax by 10 trillion. That's going to be a huge dent on American physical, numbers. But in terms of, talking about banning Muslims, Trump has got a lot of investments in the Muslim world. If you go to Dubai, you have Trump hotels and golf courses and everything. So, if you ban Muslims if you ban Muslims from going to America, of course, I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think, a lot of people are scared now. But honestly, the good thing with politicians is they end up doing nothing, anything that they promised. It is bad if what they promised is something good. And it's good if what they promised is a bad thing. So I don't think all these things he said.
Yeah.
If you look at his speech, his victory speech today,
It was very conciliatory.
the markets lost 2.5 trillion in a few hours when they saw he was going to win.
And you tweeted that the markets lost 2.5 trillion US.
Correct. And as soon as he gave that victory speech,
It started to pick up
correct.
slowly.
For Amalek,
Let me
Muslims
tell you,
being banned.
Muslims being banned. Why would Muslims die to go to the States, if I may ask you, in the first place?
I guess everybody wants to go to America.
No. Why would they be dying to go to the States?
There are movies on coming to America.
Hang on a minute, let me tell you.
Yes.
Let Americans get out of Muslim countries in the world. They are the cause of the chaos in Yemen, in Syria, in Iraq, name it everywhere. And right now in Turkey, by basically the Kurdish, what they call PKK, which is fighting the center. They're involved in all that. They're involved in Libya. They broke Libya. Libya was there. They broke it up. They broke up Tunisia. If you break it, you own it. But basically, they're not even owning it themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somalia, go everywhere, name it. There is an American hand in there.
So
This man is an isolationist.
do you plan to go to America?
Well, look, every time, I've been to America like 13 times, I don't know how many times. And every time I went there, I had an official reason to go there. I never went for a holiday, by the way. If I had to go for a holiday myself, the best place I would go for holiday is a place called Kulan, which is outside Garissa, where my camels are. But if I had to go to another place, then I would go to the Mara. Look at the Mara. Look how beautiful the Mara is.
Right.
And spend time there.
Grand Mullah. Muslims being banned.
America is not a banana republic. It's not. The president does not have, executive powers to say that from today on, certain category of people cannot come to the country. He can't. You know, America has a lot of checks and balances. The courts are powerful. I mean, when George Bush was more conservative than Trump, and he brought so many policy decisions, I mean, they were challenged at every step, and there were many policies that were rolled back by the courts. So America has all its institutions. So Trump, despite his radical agendas, there's enough checks and balances. But also, let's not forget that this man is even not, you know, a conservative. He has spent most of his life as a Democrat, and he has paid a lot of contribution to the Democratic Party. So, I mean, he has given a lot of populist ideas during the campaign, but I don't think he's, you know, that hardcore conservative like Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quick answer. Before we go to break, quick answer. Will he be a good president?
I think let's give him the benefit. You know, when people have such hostile opinion about a person, he normally turns good.
Real quick.
I personally feel that Trump has, in the immediate, already destroyed America. Losing $2.5 trillion is not a small. It's not a small change.
Yeah.
But he's going to be good for the rest of us. He's going to cut down on aid to the West, to the third world countries. We're going to begin now going on self-sufficiency. He's going to be good to the blacks in America. He's going to be good to all those people who immigrated there, because they will have to, you know, they have to work for themselves.
Okay, Mohamed Oye.
Well, I think, I mean, good for who? I mean, a lot of people probably don't know that George Bush, who was hated by many, was very good for Africa.
In the beginning?
In the beginning,
Africa than
than anyone else.
Correct, but he was hated in the beginning.
Yes.
In the beginning, people are not happy with him, but
Correct.
he increased it from $1 billion to Africa to
But
up
as
to 90
a business
billion.
person and a person who is in the finance industry, I think he has a lot of policy, and his policy is not predictable, and that is not very good for the markets. So with Hillary, people knew a lot about her.
Yeah.
You know, she had decades of policy.
I mean, the policy gaps Trump has will be filled by the policy positions of his party, because you know the party has all these positions on every issue. So it's the party really that will run the government.
And the Republicans will control everything.
He's an isolationist to begin with, let me tell you. He's an isolationist. The last time Americans had a very powerful isolationist is when they had this guy who was there in the First World War. Remember?
Yes. Was it Franklin Delano Roosevelt?
Woodrow Wilson
Uh-huh.
was an isolationist. And it's precisely because of that isolationist doctrine which he believed in, that America did not join the League of Nations. And that's what led to the Second World War. So the more this powerful country gets out of the international community, they're threatening to get out of NATO. They're threatening to ask the Japanese to pay for the defense. Now, the moment Japan now begins arming itself, there is going to be no stopping in arming itself. You never know. Then the next thing is that they're going to be imperial designs. You get my point? Europe right now, the main reason, the philosophy behind Europe not arming itself is to control the German adventurism.
Yes.
But now when you say we're not going to defend you again, the Germans will have to now begin looking for nuclear power, looking for everything else that was taken for granted before. So the next thing you're going to have is that they might have imperial designs. So you will have an unstable world. And having an unstable world with nuclear power nowadays, not this time around, is not like the Second World War time. You're talking about mutual
Armageddon.
Mutual holocaust. Armageddon,
It's
yes.
Armageddon.
Yes.
And he's got the nuclear
but for
football.
African countries, he's going to tell them, why should I give you anything? Why should I give you any aid? You know,
I tell you, man.
Go and work for yourself. And that is good for us. Let me tell you, we will have reason to. We are stealing all our money. Look at all the corruption that's there. And then we go to him now, to the foreign donors, and ask them for money.
Okay, speaking of corruption, let's switch gears, take a break, come back, and talk about corruption in Kenya. Talk about NYS. Talk about
Minister of Health.
Ministry of Health.
Go on.
Talk about everything.
Go on. It's not just that.
There's more?
There's many more coming.
Come on.
Talk about the tunnel. You know what I mean?
Tunnel,
and then talk about the Mao forest, the bit that's coming up right now.
Are you talking as opposition or what?
No. This is stuff which is in the public domain, my friend, unless you don't want us to read the papers.
No. Carry on.
Did you see the litany of the ministries on the front page of one of the papers this morning? This morning?
No.
Every ministry has issues.
We've got the banker, the politician, and the grand mullah on the bench today. Mohammed Waliye, Farah Malim, Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi. We're talking issues. We're talking politics 101. We're going to switch gears, come back all the way to Kenya. State of corruption. What's going on? Who's stealing what? What's going to happen? What should happen? The answers coming up after the break. Jeff Koinange live. By the way, keep tweeting at Waliye Mohammed, at Farah Malim M, at Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, at Koinange Jeff. Hashtag State of Corruption. Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.